Salvi's Search for the Universe. Epilogue. 2 weeks of celebration follow the coronation of the new king. None dared question his legitimacy openly, but there will always be those who slink within the shadows, so long as power is in play. However, Manakel and his network of spies were enough to deter most aspiring usurpers. Peter settled himself into his new throne without discord. Within the year, Peter had distinguished himself for his intellect and insight. After resolving several territorial disputes and bolstering trade with a slew of radical tax adjustments, garnering respect from both the nobility and the layman as the kingdom prospered under his rule. After his capture at the hands of Rupert Farrells, the former Duke, Rondo, was exiled from Meath for his many crimes. He was sterilized shortly before his exile, ensuring his bloodline and his claim to the throne would die with him. He found shelter in a small coastal town in Nail, and through his natural talents managed to secure himself a seat in the town's council. But he never advanced beyond that position. He never adjusted to life, and gained a reputation as a cantankerous old man with a penchant for spending the majority of his coin on expensive imports of tobacco and liquor, always puffing his pipe and staring out his third-story window to the meadows far beyond. Lord Farrells became Duke Farrells shortly after the king's coronation. No one ever learned of his secret raid of that organization's base of operation, and only noted his uncanny success afterwards, remarking that it was as if the Lady of Luck herself had blessed him. Newly raised, it did not take long for him to become one of the most powerful houses in the kingdom, and such was his success that he was able to expand his lands and appoint his own lords, one of whom was the source of many rumors, for being an apparent foreigner. Tybalt returned home immediately after the ceremonies were complete, and stepped again into his normal life. He worked as an ambassador for his father, as he had before, and never again saw battle, and that did not bother him one bit. He was regretful to lose Brown, who was recruited into the royal guard by King Peter, but he understood. A string of robberies broke out all over Panas, as several wealthy merchants fell victim to an assumed gang of thieves, and it never seemed to make a difference, no matter how many guards they hired. The guilds were in upheaval until they stopped as suddenly as they had started. Sometimes later, a wealthy, white-eyed man moved into town. He lived comfortably, spending his time wood carving, and though it was only a hobby, some remarked at how skillful he was with his knife. Around the same time, rumors began circulating around Panas. Rumors that there was an underground fighting arena, recruiting fighters from around the world, offering extravagant prizes to whomever could defeat the champion. Some claimed the man organizing the events was the champion himself, and some even claimed that a strange, white-eyed man was in fact a fighter. Others claimed money flowed like wine, though no one ever knew where it came from. Yet these were nothing more than rumours. Branilkoff stayed in the royal palace long enough to make several enemies, and learn his father had been found, several pounds lighter, but still alive. Before he embarked on his next journey, he said his farewells to a certain kobold and king, who saw him off personally. He vanished that day. Legends began to appear all across the kingdom in hushed whispers, warning of an evil spirit that wore the guise of a man in tattered clothing. Some claimed it was the spirit of a murdered minstrel, eternally seeking an audience. Others claimed it was a demon out to steal men's minds, to drag them into hell. However the stories went, they all agreed that, should you shelter this creature, it would let out an unearthly wail, and you and anyone around would wake up some time after, feeling as violated as a pure maiden raped. Mercenaries were sent after the creature, but catching an evil spirit proved to be impossible, and the ghastly minstrel became a permanent figure in local folklore. Bandar, the once captain of the Luhorn Guard, found a new life on a farm in a distant village. It was when he helped repel a band of roving bandits from the village that he found his future wife. They had several beautiful children together. From then, his life became so pleasantly boring that not even the most dedicated historian would bother to remember it. Berman, the ferryman, continued to ferry people across the river, and after the news of what happened in Panas made its way to Luhorn, there wasn't a single tavern-goer in the entire city that didn't eventually hear him recount the time he ferried the saviour of the kingdom across the Thames. As for Salvi, she moved into the palace permanently. She had very nearly not, if it hadn't been for Braum's intervention. He had reminded her that if she stayed in the palace, she could eat all the food she wanted. And he was shocked at the speed with which she changed her mind. She was bestowed the title Grand Duchess of the Space Beneath the Kitchen Stairs by King Peter, and ruled over it accordingly. The cooks tossed her scraps occasionally, and very little food went to waste. She grew quite haughty in her new position, making decrees that all underneath the stairs would play along with as they passed from the servants' quarters to the kitchen. The word pet was too harsh to describe her position, but nevertheless there were few in the palace who disliked her. Braum, in particular, gained quite the reputation for his frequent visits to her duchy, and some joked that it was as if they were lovers. But of course, that would be ridiculous. Okay, I want to thank you all to following me on this journey. It's been many years, actually. Too many years, goodness me. Anyway, I want to thank you for following me on this journey. It's been quite interesting. From the first episode where I sound so goddamn bad. Have you listened to that? Jesus, go back and listen to that. It's I sound like I'm nervous and I strain my voice constantly. It's just and I am too close to the microphone. Yeah. Anyway, it's been fun, and this has been such a good story. Yeah. So what's next then for me on what am I gonna do next? I don't know. Probably not one of these long stories again. These are ridiculously hard to read, and but they are fun. So I don't know. Leave a comment below to what you want me to do, and I'll consider it. So, toodaloo everyone, and I hope to see you next time. Good night, good evening, good day, good morning, or whatever. Toodaloo. Oh, before I go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and please consider giving me a few monetary units in my on my coffee. The link is on my channel or on the screen right now. So, thank you.